there's been something it's been weighing on my mind for some while now, and I have talked about this before. But it does feel like history is repeating itself. Now, back during 2008, when we had the financial crash, my company had suffered somewhat. Because those who were, supposed to be paying us, they went bankrupt. And as such, we didn't get paid. So we had to turn to debt. Credit card debt, in this case. It became a bit of a debt spiral. And as such, we got to a point where we decided enough is enough. We're going to have to close the door on it. Made everyone redundant. Had no choice. Well, we were planning to move over here to France at some point. And it speeded up our plans. So we did. We bought a place over here with what money we had left after selling the house and what have you. And that's what we did. But now I see, after years of cheap money, because the interest rates are ridiculously low, people just treat it as, they take out debt like sweeties, like eating sweeties. Like it means nothing. Part of the problem of credit cards, you see, quite part of the problem of debt in general. You don't have that relationship with it. That's the beauty about actual cash, actual money. It's harder to hand over 20 quid than it is to just no contact. Well, today I was reading this article. It happens to be in The Guardian that says that millions of UK families are using credit cards and loans to pay basic bills. Now, we all know the cost of living crisis has kind of made that a necessity for many people because they just don't have enough money coming in each month. No, just to cover the basic essentials. Energy bills, for instance. 400% increases. The government's been pretty much, how to put it, a little bit flaccid on that one, you could say. But, unfortunately, families are putting it on their credit cards. They're paying their bills with their credit cards. Paying their debt with debt. Your electric bill is a debt. You've already had the electric, unless you're on a prepayment meter. Well, the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, they're warning that this is a debt spiral. Most definitely. A ticking time bomb. Now we've got interest rates are rising, haven't we? And they're going to be rising again, at least one, maybe two more times. If you look at the chatter from the Bank of England. So look here, that millions of families are borrowing to cover their basic bills and expenses. According to an analysis that warns that Britain is entering a dangerous new phase of the cost of living crisis. Interest rates are expected to rise again this week, and there are warnings that a time bomb of debt among poorer households, amongst anybody. Debt is debt. Debt generally, years ago when I was a boy, you might get debt, take out a loan to buy a car, some hire purchase agreement, take out a car. You might get some debt to buy your house, most likely. These are large purchases. But now it seems to be, debt for everything. Now I know some people are really good about paying their monthly credit card bills. They like the idea of having it all in one place. It's easy to do the budget. But what happens when one month you find that, we don't really have enough money come in this month. So what we'll do is we'll just pay the minimum. And then that goes on to the next one, next month. And then that becomes the normal. So all you ever do then is pay the bare minimum. Because that's all you can afford. People's wages have been compressed because of austerity and inflation. We ain't got enough money in our pockets. Well, according to the Joseph Rowntree Foundation's analysis, shared with The Observer, 2.3 million low-income families have reported taking out loans or using credit cards to pay essential bills during the crisis. Now, political attention has focused on the impact of interest rates on mortgage payers. But no one's thinking about those who've already got debt. They've already spent that money. You see, the government don't care about them people because they've already spent it. The tax is already paid on that money. There's nearly 6 million low-income families have unsecured debt. The only way out of this is applying for bankruptcy, which means you can't do anything after that, within reason. Yeah, you might not even be able to get a bank account. Ask Nigel Farage on that one, he might help you out. Oh, dear me. So, such as credit cards, overdrafts, personal loans from banks, credit unions, and payday lenders. Those things should be banned. And so should buy now, pay later. You know, where you don't pay anything for like 3 months or whatever it is, or a year, and all of a sudden you get hit with a massive debt. Because any interest-free period that you had, you lose it. If you don't pay up with buy now, pay later. Yeah, that's a scam. The using credit card to pay bills is not preventing households from falling behind with their payments. And 3/4 report is that with at least one household bill or lending commitment with 44% in arrears. With 3 or more bills. That's terrible. Meanwhile, 2.8 million low-income households said that they had been refused a loan to tide them over between May 2021 and May 2023. Well, that'll be funny. It's all about risk. If you're deemed as being risky, hence the poor households, well, they're not going to lend to you, are they? And if they do, they've got to look at the risk and say, well, the interest rate's going to have to be cut higher to accommodate it. Then you can't afford it anyway. So the cost of living crisis is entering a dangerous new phase, said Rachel Airwalker, senior economist at the JRF. Even at this apparent peak in economic suffering, millions of low-income families continue to rely on lifeline of unsecured lending to prevent them falling even further into severe material hardship. But with the interest rates continuing to rise, it remains unclear how much more weight this option can bear. Well, it can bear no weight at all, because it shouldn't even be an option. It really shouldn't. Unless you can think you're okay in a month, maybe 2 months' time, and everything will be, super duper. You shouldn't be doing that. Really not. It's dangerous. Unsecured debt is dangerous. Any debt, even secured debt, is dangerous. It seems to me it's become a way of life that we live with debt. It's like it's normal to live with debt. Like I said, regarding your main purchases like a mortgage or a car or something like that. Yeah, I get that. I understand that one. But we shouldn't really be using debt to pay our bills. And most certainly shouldn't be using debt to pay debt. You shouldn't be using your credit card, taking cash out and going paying for your flipping credit card bills. No. Anyway, maybe you know some similar stories on that front. Please leave it in the comments down below. I do read the comments. But I feel on this one because I've had some previous experience with it, I've got a barbecued mess of credit cards on the wall in my office to remind me never to have debt. And I haven't. The only debt I have now is, it's my electric bill, I suppose. Because we already had the electric, so I suppose that's a debt. That's about it. We don't have a lot of that either because we have solar as well. Anyway, you tell me, please leave it in the comments down below. And I do read your comments, but you probably already know. Look at Sport Channel, you do that on Patreon or buy us a coffee, the links are down below. We've also got memberships and that as well, which is pretty cool. And, yeah. I just feel for these people, I really do. It's hard, isn't it? You'll get the idiots out there and they'll say things like, oh, well, you shouldn't have spent the money then, should you? It's your own fault, your own doing. Well, people's lives have changed because of what's been going on. We live to our means. It's kind of how people live these days. I don't blame them. No. Unless you use the money to promote Brexit, and then obviously you deserve everything you get. Anyway, time for me to go and say ta-ta, Ta-ta.